Alpine's Hemp Company. Gummies, seltzers, syrups, and more. Treat yourself to the best.
Welcome back into the Thursday edition of the WHKY News. I'm Rob Eastwood in for Ralph Mangum. It's time for Community Focus. Gen Z is feeling taxed. What does that mean? Arianna Mack and her guest will explain.
The IRS tax system has always been complex and can inspire dread even among experienced filers. However, with the popular emergence and new laws for sports betting, investing, influencers, and side hustles, newer filers can feel particularly overwhelmed.
The younger filer population is a unique demographic, much more complicated than, say, taxpayers of the past with maybe one job, maybe a pension, maybe they itemized, maybe they didn't. This younger generation typically has multiple income streams. Maybe they have a full-time job, but typically on the side, a side hustle. They may have investments in crypto. They may be doing online gaming, and the list goes on and on. Coupled with that are multiple types of retirement considerations, not just a pension, but maybe a 401k, a traditional Roth IRA, and the list goes on there as well. And finally, they're doing lots of other life changes, more so than, say, older taxpayers, moving, changing jobs, going to new states. You add all that together, it's a pretty complicated tax profile, and you can see why that would be overwhelming. You couple that with the social media that taxes are so simple, postcard, do it yourself. Once they're sitting with their pro and answering all those questions, or even worse, doing it themselves, it can be quite overwhelming. And so they see a higher degree of concern and stress, and rightly so. Their taxes and the table stakes for that tax money much bigger and much more complicated than years past.
Mark Steeber, Chief Tax Officer of Jackson Hewitt Tax Services, shares practical advice on how to tackle your taxes and explains what's taxable, from sports betting and Bitcoin to influencer earnings and side hustles.
For Gen Z and really any taxpayer that's stressed for their taxes, really the simple solution is just to have a plan. And a plan includes an organizational plan for your documents, both this tax season as those documents roll in, and really throughout the year. The shoebox or the envelope works, but once you have a plan and a centralized location, you feel better. Secondly, you need some goals, like a date on the calendar. I'm going to file by the middle of February, or now the middle of March. But have a date and a plan to go find your pro and get your taxes done. And thirdly, pay attention to your taxes all year round, including a mid-year checkup, so you're not facing with an overwhelming surprise or even question on how it might turn out, maybe luck, maybe planning. So mid-year checkup, a tax pro in your back pocket like Jackson Hewitt, and then your organizational documents and a date on the calendar. Once you have all that, whether it's your taxes or exercise or personal health, all that sends a message to your brain to be less concerned because you've got it covered. But a tax pro in your back pocket's my number one recommendation.
Without proper tax counsel, people could be leaving money on the table or end up owing more than expected, especially if you earn income other than your W-2.
Yeah, those people with side hustles, and they've grown immensely since the pandemic. Some estimates are 40 or 50 million. They have some of the more complicated tax returns in the tax system. At the same time, they have some of the more beneficial tax rules in the tax system with deductions, options, other considerations that can lower their taxes both on their side hustle, one or more, whether it be full-time or part-time, and even offset their regular income if they have a regular job. So I would simply say this: if you have a side gig, full or part-time, big or small, or even many, you really need to educate yourself on taxes, and also, whether you do your taxes or not, have a tax pro on your contact list. If just to even ask questions on about making estimated payments or what I need to do with my mid-year tax projection, you certainly want to understand the rules and take advantage of every one of the tax breaks that are afforded to you, and there are a lot of them. So self-employed, number one person to go see a tax pro.
Stay alert during tax season. I'm Arianna Mack for WHKY.
Thank you, Arianna, and thanks to Mr. Steeber for that valuable information during this tax season. The Alexander County Department of Social Services will host a foster parent information session Monday, March 17th at 5:30 p.m. at DSS in advance of an upcoming training course called Model Approach to Partnerships in Parenting, or MAP. This information session is an opportunity for individuals who are interested in becoming licensed foster parents to learn more about the foster parent licensure process and training requirements, and to meet the staff who will be providing the training. You can get much more on this by going to our website, WHKY.com. The MAP training, which begins April 22nd, will meet Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. for 10 weeks. For more information, call 828-352-7619. That brings us to the end of Community Focus on this Thursday. On behalf of Arianna Mack, Jason Savage, and Mark Steeber, I'm Rob Eastwood. Ralph Mangum will be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and from Hickory, good night.